What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be taking a look at Mercury in the ninth house and what it's like to have Mercury in the ninth house in your astrological chart. So, let's get into it. What is Mercury? Mercury is the planet of communication, the planet of skills, particularly skills by hands. It deals with our mental ability and the ability to communicate what we are thinking, right? It is our analytical mind that kind of helps us classify and understand reality. Ninth house. Ninth house is the house of higher learning. This is the original house of Sagittarius, Jupiter ruled house. It's the house of long distance travels, teachings of our fathers, and so much more we'll get into in this video. So, first thing you want to know about Mercury in the ninth house is that regardless of the sign, this is someone with a very inquisitive, analytical mind. They are seeking to know more about something. So at the base of this position is the potential for the expansion of the lower mind. Because what you want to keep in mind here is that Mercury is 180 degrees away from its home, right? So to some extent, we could say Mercury's taking a long distance travel or is going into opposing territory. But this territory presents Mercury with the ability to become whole, okay? So to understand this Mercury position, you'll want to think about Mercury in this natural element of, like, let's say a Gemini or a third house. So what happens, let's say, if you get Mercury in Gemini in the ninth house? Oh, that really presents the opportunity to get the best of both worlds, because the natural function of Gemini is to learn as much as possible. And then the function of the ninth house in Sag is to seek the deeper meaning behind that. So when those two sync up, you have the potentiality for true mastery. So that's definitely where I want to go next, and part of the first thing you really want to know about this position. In order to find fulfillment, it must become a master at something. And if you go to my Mercury and Gemini videos, it'll tell you Mercury needs to learn how to become a master of one thing so it doesn't become a jack of all trades and master of none. So in this house, this becomes central. But what happens here is, depending on aspects or other things going on, this Mercury in the ninth house can be deterred or distracted, right? But it could really go either way, because they are naturally good students, but it will require some discipline. So what I've seen here is that, Mercury in the earth houses do really, really well, because, these are people who academically early on, they're strong, and then it kind of just, carries them into it. So the real point of emphasis that I'm putting here on this position, people, because remember, I'm an astrologer and I'm a Virgo moon, Virgo rising. So I deal with practicality and the actualization of the energy. And I know this Mercury position in the ninth house wants to actualize through mastery. How does that translate into the real world? Well, one of the ninth house things is institutions of higher learning. And this is not just college, but it does include college, universities, schools of specialization. Okay? So part of understanding the ninth house in a deeper aspect is understanding what it means to be a master. And I don't have the book with me, but if you don't know, I've recently published my new book, Astrology of the Matrix. Check the link below. I go into this about the ninth house, right? And what mastery allows you to do. And so Mercury, the example that we're given here, the practical one, is go to college, get a degree, or go to trade school. Just become a specialist within something. That is where the fulfillment is going to be. So things that I've observed here, let's kind of like try to put some aspects into this thing. Maybe Mercury is squaring Saturn in the 6th house, or squaring some type of 6th house energy. Well, then you're going to have someone who has potential but isn't very grounded or disciplined. And I've also seen this effect where this Mercury, they run from failure, right? Particularly if we have Virgo energy or some squares here. They don't like not succeeding at what it is that they set out to do. So then that sends them into the loop of jack of all trades, master of none. So one of the major advices here, depending on your aspects, but like if it's connected to Saturn or maybe an earthy energy, it will denote success over time, or the need to really buy into more discipline and deal with rejection in some type of way. Okay, but I love the 9th house because I didn't mention this in the beginning, but it's a house of blessings. It's Jupiter's house, so no energy in the 9th house is going against you. It's teaching you. So another thing that this Mercury in the 9th has to learn is about open-mindedness. Now, this is why when you guys ask questions, I'm like, yo, I gotta see the whole chart, because it's all a puzzle. If we have some 4th house energy to go ahead with this Mercury in the 9th, or maybe some 2nd house energy, this can denote a strong influence of a family on one's thinking. At the same time, it can be the opposite, but we'll get to that. But in certain regards, a close mind, let's say the Mercury is in Cancer here, right? Now, it goes deep. I'm not going to give it away. But let's say Mercury is in Cancer and your family's cultured in some way. Y'all speak another language. That's what that Mercury in that 9th house can represent, you being bilingual. Or shit, if it's got some heavy aspects, you're like, I don't want to learn that shit, right? And then the rest of the family speaks that language and you don't. But how it can go is, you like Mercury in the 9th, it could really buy into everything that the family and culture is about, right? But at the same time, that might be limiting to their growth. It might prevent them from expanding out and connecting with others, right? But it all depends upon the energy coming from the family. So one thing that others will discover through like study of astrology and stuff like that is like, I could never pinpoint it, but oh wow, my family actually is kind of small-minded, or that's why I never really saw eye to eye with these particular type of people, right? So then in the next regard, you have Mercury in the 9th, who is like the rebel, or the one who thinks different, that's meant to be different. And in this case, we having a Mercury, planet of short distance travels, in the house of long distance travels. How this translates is that you need movement in order to have some type of peace of mind. In some cases, it won't always represent moving to another place, but it might. But it'll represent possibility of traveling a lot through work, or maybe changing residences every couple of years. But at its base, you need to be moving and shaking. That's expanding your mind through travel. You grow every time, you know what I'm saying, you take a trip. So depending on how your Mercury set up, that's really gonna do it for you. On the other hand, it could do study. And then the thing is like the things that you study and your inquisitive and your curiousness leads to more fulfilling experiences. Okay. Next thing I want to say with this Mercury here is there can be a professional like layer to it. Because keep in mind, we know Sun and Mercury don't go more than 45 degrees apart. So it could be very likely that you have a Sun in the 10th house with a Mercury in the 9th house. And this is going to be someone that, regardless of what it is that they know they're going to, or interested in, they're going to seek to materialize it. Okay, add that salesmanship to it. So teachers can be seen from this. Preachers can be seen from this. Legacy acts of the father. right? So let's say we get a Sun and Jupiter in the 10th house, Mercury in the ninth. Easily could represent father being a preacher, okay? And then you taking that ability, that potential, that learning of the gift of gab, being around that and actualizing it for yourself, right? So let's say we have like a strong Mercury and a strong Jupiter. So Mercury's here and then Jupiter's strong too. This could definitely be someone who's a successful, new age personality, all types of stuff. So this house can really open up. And keep in mind, Mercury likes to have fun, but he likes to get his job done. Always about the work. You know what I'm saying? Work hard, play hard. At least that's how I see it. Anything else with this position? Like I said, but I said this before. Family culture will be important. Let's say you have no culture, right? Say you have no culture, you don't resonate with it. Connect with another one. So yes, learning another language, and in the spiritual sense, astrology is another language too. But ways of opening up your mind, tapping into your higher potential. And a lot of people with Mercury in the ninth have some type of potential. All right. So y'all, this is my interpretation of Mercury in the ninth. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think. If you need a reading, which a lot of people do, is Sagittarius season's going down. Click the links. Send me an email. We'll set something up. Like I said before, check out the links to my book, Astrology of the Matrix. Until next time, peace.